Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and are safe and well in this crazy world. And today I wanted to talk about how you fill in your 7 keyword slots in the back end of your KDP account when you're uploading a book. If you're brand new here, I'm mainly talking about low content publishing on Amazon KDP, and that means uploading your own books onto Amazon, such as diaries, journals, planners, notebooks, activity books, and things like that. So today I will be talking about how you actually fill in your keyword slots in the backend. And I'll talk about a couple of different methods that people use and which one I use and why I think it's the better way. But of course, it's just my opinion and you can come up with your own conclusions. There are a couple of different methods that people tend to use, and I seem to use the one that is less common. I think the important thing to say is that people have had success on Amazon using a variety of different ways to enter their keyword slots. So, just using one particular method won't guarantee that you're going to have success versus another. So I'm purely going to be focusing on how to input keywords into the slot. So I'm not going to be talking about keyword selection or niche selection in this video. So I'm going to talk about method 1 now. The idea is that Amazon picks up on these words and they will put them together in a various number of combinations, and they will, come up with a ton of different keywords from those single words that you've put in. And I can't comment how effective this method is because it's not the method that I personally use. The second method I want to talk about is what I've worked with from the beginning, and it's what I've stuck with. And this is where you choose a combination of keywords and their keyword phrases. And these are search terms that people are currently searching for on Amazon. For example, camping logbook for kids. And then I will tag on some additional keywords at the end. And that will come up with a variety of keywords such as camping logbook for kids, camping logbook for children, camping logbook for girls, and camping logbook for boys, plus any other combination that you could come up with or that Amazon comes up with. Although you will repeat words in the keyword slots, you wouldn't repeat words that you've already used elsewhere in your metadata. So for example, I wouldn't use the same words that I've used in my title or my subtitle again. So if my subtitle is camping logbook for girls, then I wouldn't use camping logbook again in my keyword slots. However, I would use the word camping if it was part of a completely different keyword, such as camping journal for children, something like that. So that's what I personally do. Some people will say never repeat any of the words in your title in your backend keyword slots at all. I don't do that. I do sometimes repeat it. It just depends on what keywords I'm using. To back up my method that I use, I would like to talk about some things that Amazon mentions in their terms of service. So they actually have a section on their website for metadata guidelines, and they also have keyword guidelines. And I suggest you do go and check it out if you haven't already. I can link to that in the description below. But in this information, Amazon says the following. 1. Put keywords in the most logical order. 2. Do not put in irrelevant keywords. 3. Imagine what you would be searching for if you were a customer. And 4. 2 to 3 word phrases are better than single words. So my takeaway is that Amazon itself seems to recommend phrases above single words when they're talking about what customers are actually searching for. So this too seems to lean towards keyword phrases rather than a jumble of single unrelated words. And again, they talk about words being in the most logical order. Filling in the keyword slot with something like randomly summer, gift, winter, boys, girls, blue, colourful, rainbow, things like that in a single keyword slot doesn't seem to relate to the advice that Amazon is actually giving on their own website about this. By contrast, if you use something like camping journal for boys and then girls, children, travel, while there are some single words there, they can make up a combination of variable search terms on their own. It does seem to correspond a bit more accurately to what Amazon is advising. So also something interesting is that Amazon do talk about not repeating words in your title or your subtitle. I've recognized this as well. I've had the odd occasion where I've actually repeated a word in my title and then I've repeated it in my subtitle, and I've had a flag email up from Amazon telling me I need to change things. That seems to correspond as true, but they don't actually talk about repeating words in your keyword slots. There's also a video that I watched which Amazon created themselves, and they repeat the same keyword in their example. And they also talk about putting keywords in the most logical order. So as you can see in this example, they say Charleston Low Country, Charleston Coastal Islands. Amazon are showing that themselves, that they're actually repeating two different search terms in two independent slots. There's also another video that I found really helpful, and I can link to this below. So the video is by a Kindlepreneur who's has a really great channel anyway. He has lots of useful information, and he has a video about the 7 keyword slots. The key points that I took from the video was that the more individual keywords that were in the 7 slots in their experiments, the lower ranked books were. And I think that comes down to relevancy. So you need the keywords to be super relevant for your book, and there is no point in putting just a million different, single words, although you wouldn't be able to fit a million in, but you know what I mean. So fitting a lot of single words in the slots and hoping, that they're going to rank for some combination or other. A book during their experiment didn't rank whatsoever after they put in the wrong keywords. They added keywords from an entirely different book, and I think that points to the same issue of relevancy. Another thing I took from the video is that it doesn't actually hurt to repeat your keywords, but it doesn't benefit you either. Amazon does talk about repeating keywords that are already in your top title and subtitle, as I mentioned, but this is just more advice than a warning. So just to confirm to you, it's actually not dangerous, or it's not an issue to repeat words in your backend slots at all. It's much more of an issue to repeat words in your title and your subtitle. Personally, from that video, I do feel it gives more weight to the second method than the first method I mentioned. And I think that's partially because it does also make you really think about what keywords you're going to add to your backend slots and to ensure that those are really relevant. Is there another argument that I can make for method 1, and that is the first method where you input lots of single words? Well, there are lots of people that claim it doesn't matter what words you input or what phrases. Amazon will just choose all those words and they'll put them in any combination. This might well be true, and I presume it is true to an extent. Otherwise, lots of people who are very successful using the first method wouldn't have any success. But I think there is a temptation there when you are just putting those single words in to stuff as many words in as you can and not necessarily be incredibly relevant to your book. Less is more when it comes to keywords. I think where people go wrong is just adding in too many variables and trying to hit the jackpot with that, rather than just choosing the keywords that make the most sense for their book. And also some people putting in irrelevant keywords because they're lower competition, for example, and they want to rank for them. And often Amazon just won't rank you for that anyway because they don't think it's relevant to your book. Someone might put in wife, girlfriend, uncle, boy, Christmas, holidays, birthday, Valentine's, Mother's Day, or whatever. If it's relevant to a birthday and Mother's Day, then of course put those in. But if it's just a kind of generic book that you wouldn't give as a gift on Mother's Day, then there's no point in putting in. You also need to consider that if your books are not selling, whether this has anything to do with the keywords whatsoever. And I think in a lot of cases it doesn't. In my experience, not getting sales comes down to a couple of really big issues, and the keywords aren't the main one. So I will link to that video somewhere here in the page right now if I've remembered to put it in. So yeah, do tell me in the comments exactly how you enter your keywords, and do you use method 1 or do you use method 2? Let me know. So I hope you're having a good month, and I will speak to you again very soon.